Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Mahendra Samarawickrama from the Australian Red Cross. Australian Red Cross is a member of the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement. I am delighted to address the industry's leading Data Innovation Summit 2021 regarding driving AI for environmental, social, and governance, or ESG. ESG is a new strategy consisting of standards, frameworks, and matrices for driving corporate social responsibility. In this speech, I will present our innovative toolkit for AI governance, which underpins social diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice in AI. Further, the toolkit supports driving AI for achieving organizations' ESG and sustainable goals. So while you are listening to this presentation, please think about how you can be part of this humanitarian movement. First of all, in the spirit of reconciliation, the Australian Red Cross acknowledges the traditional custodians of the country throughout Australia and their connection to land, sea, and community. We pay our respect to their elders, past and present, and extended that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. The overview of this presentation is, first, we will introduce the Red Cross and its purpose. Then we will discuss the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals as a leading ESG framework and how AI is beneficial for ESG and sustainability. Next, we will discuss the risks of AI getting failed, which will fail to achieve the expected outcomes. As a solution, we will focus on how people, culture, and mission can be strengthened with good AI governance and ethics for the sustainability of AI. Afterward, we will discuss the Red Cross 7 fundamental principles as a framework to drive AI for ESG. Further, we will discuss the Red Cross mission and how that mission can mitigate AI risks and enhance benefits. Next, as a toolkit, we present our innovative kite abstraction framework and wind turbine conceptual model of AI for ESG, inspired by our 7 fundamental principles. Afterward, we discuss how those framework and model can transform AI for ESG. Finally, we will present a success story as a case study. The Red Cross mission is to prevent or reduce human suffering wherever it's found. We are guided by our 7 fundamental principles, which are humanity, unity, universality, neutrality, impartiality, independence, and volunteer service. We are the world's largest humanitarian movement operating in over 190 countries. We have over 17 million volunteers worldwide. We play an auxiliary role to the government, recognized as a reliable partner for mobilizing the power of humanity. The United Nations have identified 17 broad and interdependent goals in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It is expected of all countries and stakeholders acting in a collaborative partnership to achieving these goals. The Red Cross is focusing on these goals as they are also aligning in humanitarian and ESG perspectives. It is predicted that AI can contribute as much as 15.7 trillion to the world economy by 2030. These UN Sustainable Development Goals are also planned to achieve by 2030 in the areas critically important for humanity and the planet. As per Nature's research, AI could help achieve 79% of the Sustainable Development Goals. Therefore, addressing these sustainability goals are very important in driving AI for ESG. In the previous slide, we discussed how AI can contribute to sustainability. In this slide, we discuss the sustainability of AI. The research found that from now until 2022, 85% of AI projects will fail due to bias in data, algorithms, or the teams responsible for managing them. Further, there are many emerging AI risks for humanity such as autonomous weapons, automation spurred job loss, socio-economic inequality, bias caused by data and algorithms, privacy violation, and deep fakes. These risks are fundamentally caused by unethical AI governance. They hinder achieving the ESG goals we discussed before. Therefore, addressing these AI governance issues is very important in driving AI for ESG. We discussed how AI for sustainability and sustainability of AI are underpinned by AI ethics, referring to consequentialism and utilitarianism perspectives. To make sure AI for social justice programs serve the purpose of serving humanity and sustainability, it is important to mitigate human bias in decision making. To minimize biases for enhancing social justice, it is required to bring social diversity, equity, and inclusion to people, culture, and mission of the organization. Only then we can achieve utilitarianism and consequentialism perspectives of human ethics, which can underpin the AI ethics for serving humanity and sustainability. From the ESG perspective, the leaders should orchestrate culture, people, and mission towards humanity and sustainability. The Venn diagram here illustrates how the synergy between corporate culture, people, and mission can drive AI ethics towards sustainable AI and the goals. The Red Cross believes that AI for ESG should be underpinned by human ethics. In this perspective, the Red Cross 7 fundamental principles create an effective ethical framework for serving humanity in the last 150 years. These principles guide humans to make unbiased decisions for humanity and sustainability. Therefore, without losing generality, we can adapt our 7 fundamental principles for good AI governance. As stated, they are humanity, impartiality, neutrality, independence, unity, universality, and volunteer service. Humanity can drive AI as a good cause for achieving social justice. Impartiality can make AI process unbiased. Neutrality enables us to drive AI initiatives with diversity. Independence enables the inclusion of social diversity. Unity enables social equity. Universality enables us to work internationally in a global context. Volunteering enables us to enhance our capacity and resources in AI transformation. Altogether, these 7 fundamental principles enable driving AI for ESG. This slide illustrates our mission towards AI for ESG as an optimization problem. The Red Cross mission is to prevent or reduce human suffering wherever it's found. Regarding consequentialism, we want to enhance social justice by mitigating AI risks and driving AI benefits for sustainability. On the other hand, from the utilitarianism perspective, we want to orchestrate people, culture, and mission in AI development, inspiring 7 fundamental principles and social diversity, equity, and inclusions in AI governance. Therefore, this AI for ESG optimization problem is quite complex to solve. In this slide, we present our innovative KITE conceptualized abstraction framework, which helps reduce the complexities in AI when addressing ESG. It enables driving AI for sustainability in more structured, systematic, transparent, and collaborative ways. The leaders can adopt this framework to drive the purpose of AI on ESG initiatives, addressing the key success factors. Irrespective of the complexities of the AI application, this framework analyzes the 4 key dimensions of AI, organization, society, and sustainability. The interdependencies of these dimensions enable addressing of AI strategy, AI for good, and social diversity, equity, and inclusion in AI. It supports the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Further, it helps organizational governance and responsibilities by guiding the orchestration of people, culture, and AI mission towards sustainability. Ultimately, this abstraction framework can underpin AI for ESG. We now present our wind turbine conceptualized model to illustrate how Red Cross can support good governance of AI for ESG. A conceptualized model is something like an hourglass model or iceberg model, where we map the context into a simple object or system for easy understanding. In our case, we map our solution into a wind turbine system. We know AI is the new electricity. There are unsustainable methods like burning fossil fuels to produce electricity. The wind turbine can produce sustainable electricity by driving the turbine shaft and generated by the wind. Inspired by this concept, our model always directs us to humanitarian needs, risks, and human suffering. This process is guided by the Red Cross leadership and guidelines, as the tail directs the wind turbine to the directions of the wind which it is sensitive to. The front-faced multi-blade rotor represents the 7 fundamental principles that ethically and efficiently address human needs, risks, and suffering. The wheel in the gearbox represents our community, partners, and volunteers who are continually helping us with this great cause with resources. Finally, the generator represents our data and AI capabilities, which we drive AI transformation. Through this process, we can ensure social diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice. We will now share a success story that brought partnership, volunteering, citizen scientists, and technologies to drive AI for innovation and transformation in ESG. In this partnership project with UNSW Business School, we drove 2 sustainability and humanitarian projects such that the first project is to deploy First Nations people as citizen scientists to mitigate their risks related to climate change. We want to bring technology equity for First Nations people in the climate change perspective. The second project explores how emerging technologies like AI and augmented reality can be adapted to enhance situational awareness in international humanitarian law applications. The Red Cross is the guardian of the international humanitarian law in the Geneva Convention, where we want to explore emerging AI capabilities to save lives in conflicts. Let's listen to the reflection of the students who participated in these 2 projects.
Health workers in hospitals have been subject to routine targeted attacks. As a result, many organizations have removed their names and emblems from project sites and vehicles. Our project aims to improve awareness of these Red Cross buildings, workers, and vehicles, which may have their emblems hidden, to militaries and peacekeeping coalitions.
So my team has chosen to address the problem of the protective power of the Red Cross Crescent and Crystal being reduced for a number of reasons. We've chosen to solve some issues which have occurred during conflict. These include a loss of trust in the symbol due to intentional misuse by non-Red Cross personnel.
Our project aims to monitor the effects of climate change on Indigenous communities regarding their health, heritage, and lifestyle values in order to sustain and preserve their culture, whilst also bringing awareness to climate change and the community group themselves.
And the reason we're doing this is there is an abundance or a lack thereof of effective monitoring solutions. And what's happening is it's blurring our vision and our understanding of how the environment is impacting them.
So our team proposes the equipment of soldiers with AR eyeglasses that display virtual Red Cross, Red Crescent emblems above Red Cross facilities, workers, and vehicles. Soldiers will be able to see information about the location, its proximity, and potentially supplies needed, allowing them to better protect Red Cross workers.
Our solution to these issues is a mobile application which anyone can download. A civilian or militant can log into the app to see a map with markers that indicate where Red Cross stations are around you. Official Red Cross staff will create these markers, and therefore they can be relied upon. You can select a marker to reveal information page about the site. We expect that having information about these kinds of resources and what is available at these Red Cross locations and what is not will increase user activity in the app, allowing us to push them information about the Red Cross's mission, therefore increasing familiarity and trust with it.
Our solution is to create a mobile application that allows individuals to make entries related to the specific climate change implication that they have observed, and then also to comment on the effects they believe that this implication can have on their community, their cultural heritage, and the environment around them. To promote engagement, we propose to implement a reward system. The rewards will be linked to local Indigenous businesses promoting cultural awareness.
Working with these kind of important organizations really brings the emphasis on what kind of problems we can solve today and that we really make a difference.
The benefit of working with the real problem with a real mentor, Mahendra in our case, is like you get actual feedback, and it's a lot more, I suppose, confidence building.
This project has given me the opportunity to make a valuable contribution to a project that I am genuinely interested in, and a project which I know has the potential to improve the lives of everyday Australians and also the world at a greater capacity.
It's more personal to us than just, getting a preset scenario from a textbook, like Vincent has said earlier. And because it's so personal to us, and because we can actually relate to it, it allows us to, have a more personal connection. It allows us to really, get the creative juices flowing so we can make the best projects possible.
Finally, as a summary, we would like to present two whiteboard animations about our innovative AI governance framework and model for ESG. First, I would like to present Hyperight abstraction framework for synergy between AI and ESG.
Everything invented since the Industrial Revolution will be incorporated with AI by the year 2030. AI has been identified as a key enabler, supporting 79% of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This means from simple data point management to smart city development, different stakeholders will look into different perspectives in AI, such as governance, policies, social justice, culture, ethics, strategy, technology, compliance, and sustainability. These perspectives are addressed in a set of standards, frameworks, and metrics which is referred to as Environment, Social, and Governance, or ESG. It will be the new strategy for corporate social responsibility. The Red Cross is driving AI for sustainability by mobilizing the power of humanity. We are collaborating with industry, government, community, academics, and volunteers in AI for sustainability. Our AI strategy is to enhance social justice by mitigating AI risks and driving AI benefits for humanity. The Red Cross innovative KITE conceptualized abstraction framework helps reduce the complexities in AI when addressing ESG. It enables driving AI for sustainability in more structured, systematic, transparent, and collaborative ways. The leaders can adopt this framework to drive the purpose of AI initiatives addressing the key success factors. Irrespective of the complexity of the AI application, this framework analyzes the 4 key dimensions of 1. AI, 2. Organization, 3. Society, and 4. Sustainability. The interdependencies of these dimensions enable addressing of AI strategy, AI for good, and social diversity, equity, and inclusion in AI. It supports the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Further, it helps organizational governance and responsibilities by guiding the orchestration of people, culture, and AI mission towards sustainability. Ultimately, this abstraction framework can underpin sustainable AI for sustainability.
Next, I will present our wind turbine conceptualized model for driving AI for social justice.
Artificial intelligence is the new electricity. To make AI sustainable, the focus on people, processes, and outcomes are important. AI could help to achieve 79% of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. The Red Cross 7 fundamental principles can enhance social diversity, equity, and inclusion in AI development. They are humanity, impartiality, neutrality, independence, unity, universality, and voluntary service. These 2 foundations can be unified to strengthen the mission driving AI for sustainability. The Red Cross Innovative Wind Turbine Conceptualized Model illustrates a collaborative framework for the good governance of AI for sustainability. It drives the mission towards social justice. Its process is guided by Red Cross personnel. The front-face multi-blade rotor represents the 7 fundamental principles that address AI ethics. The wheels in the gearbox represent the diversified community, volunteers, and partners who are continually helping in this great course with skills and resources. The generator represents the data and AI capabilities that drive AI transformation. As illustrated in the model, the Red Cross IT and data governance capabilities ensure data privacy, security, and compliance. Data science and AI capabilities promote social diversity, equity, and inclusion. This includes citizen scientists, volunteer data scientists, and AI for Good partnerships. The data science tools, platforms, and processes empower skilled human resources, including staff, citizen scientists, volunteers, and partners. The AI projects focus on sustainable development goals, such as climate change, First Nations peoples, vulnerable migrants, international humanitarian law, and AI for Good. Ultimately, we all can drive sustainable AI for humanity and sustainability.
Thank you for participating in this presentation. I'm Dr. Mahendra Samarawickrama from the Australian Red Cross.